Hello and welcome to the sixth episode of my tutorial series how to create a 3D model for video games in 3D code. Today you will learn how to create the retopology or how to create the low poly mesh for our warhammer that was created in the recent parts, in the recent episodes. We will learn today how to use the retopo room and some of the tools here to create a new topology for our high poly warhammer. This topology will be used later in your video game engine, and today you will see how to do this in 3D code. So have fun! Okay, here is the object that we have created in the recent videos. I will start today to retopo this hammer and we'll begin with the Hammerhead. The later game object, the game mesh, will be divided into some pieces. So I will create a model for the head, a part for the handle, and maybe one or two parts for the other objects here, like the cord or the sphere here. I'm sure the sphere will be a single object. This helps us to save some polygons. You could create a single polygon by creating a completely single polygon for the whole object, but you don't need to do this because you will save some polygons, and it will be easier for you to paint later because you can switch the sub-object off and such stuff. And it's interesting for the baking process later, when you are baking the information of the hammerhead to the object for the hammerhead for the game. To retopologize our mesh, we move to the retopo room and start to do this here. Before I start to retopo the hammerhead, I will switch off or hide the objects that are not needed for our session today. To do this, I move to the box tree window. If you don't see this view here, you can reset the views, or you can use the windows here and the pop-up submenu, and there you will find all the windows I have here and can switch them on. You are not forced to use the UV preview now at the moment. We will use it later when we create the UV information, the texture information for this object. In the groups window you will find the layers for your meshes that will be created by when you retopologize your object. So every single plane or every single face that I will create will be created on this layer. When I start to create a new object, or like the handle later, then I will create a new layer by clicking on this icon, and the new layer will be created. To delete this one, you just click on this icon here. Before I create the mesh, the new topology, I will hide these elements here that are not needed. The handle, for example, is not needed, and I will hide the cord because I need just here this part. Here we can see I have used this cord element to create my cord brush in one of my recent videos. I don't need this element, so I will delete it here. In this layer it will be seen. I can show it to you just by hiding the layer. You see the mesh is here in this layer, so I will clear this layer by clicking on this icon. Now the layer is cleared and I can begin to retopologize this hammerhead. You can see a lot of menu points here, a lot of tools. I will not explain all tools that are seen here in this session. I will just explain the tools that I like to use, because you have a lot of possibilities and it will take a lot of time to explain all, but I will try to do my best to explain it to you as good as possible. What I like to do or like to use is the point and faces tool here. The point and faces tool give us the possibility to create faces manually by creating the vertices of the faces. I will start to do this here. I create some blue bubbles. These bubbles here, or these points, represent the vertices of the upcoming of the new faces that will be created. When I move my mouse a cursor in the right position, you can see a ghost or a preview of your face that will be created when I click the right mouse button. When you move your mouse into the corners or as oh my English, here in this position, then you can see the mesh switches to triangles. So you have the possibility to create triangles or quads. So when I click my right mouse button, a quad will be created. I make an undo and I show you when I click on the right mouse button here, a triangle will be created. So you can do the same by just clicking here into this part. 3D Code can see that when a point is good enough positioned to create a new face. So here in this case you see one point was created, and 3D Code sees this edge here is good enough to create a new triangle. So what I do now is I create a quad, because our object should have, as possible, a lot of quads and not much triangles. But actually it's not very important for a game engine. It's good to have triangles, but always it's good to have quads too. Don't try to create n-gons. N-gons means I create a mesh that is looking like this. It has more than one edge. So I can show it to you how it looked like. Wait a second, I will create a new polygon, switch to quads and create this polygon here. So delete edges. So don't try to do this here. This is an n-gon. To create a regular face, just go to add and split, and there you can split your polygons automatically by clicking on this vertex, and now you have split this element. To move this point here, just click on brush, and with the brush you are able to move the points. It's not only possible to move vertices with the brush. You can do the same when you are using the point and faces tool. Just click on the right mouse button, and then you see a small white dot, and then you can move your vertices here and can create in the same time new polygons. Now we can see we have a new element created, but to make a quad of this, we could delete all these faces and create a new mesh or a new quad. But what I do is I just move the right mouse button, I just move the vertices here and move the vertex in this mode, move the vertex to this vertex or the other one. What happens? The vertex, the target will be red. Can you see it? It's red, a red dot. This means the two vertices will be welded. When you see this problem, try to weld your vertex with this one, for example. Then it should be actually made well, but it works not like I thought. I try to do it here. No. For any reason, normally the two vertices will be welded and you see a quad, but it don't work always. So sometimes it could happen. So okay, I will do it by the regular way. I will delete a polygon. Oh wait, I will do an undo. I will delete a polygon and then move the vertex to the right position. Actually it's this position here. And delete then this edge. Delete edges and delete this edge. Now I have a quad again. Okay. Actually it's working, so you can, with the right mouse button, you can not only move the vertices, you can weld them together if you like. Good. You can see my object is nearly mirrored. It has the same architecture or the same shape to use it on the opposite side. To do this, I switch on my symmetry function. It's the S key. And switch my symmetry on the x-axis on. As you can see, my symmetry is not right. It was moved in one of my recent videos. To reset the position of this axis, just click on S for the symmetry menu and click on Reset Symmetry Planes. then the plane will be resetted and moved to the center position. Now, okay, I will delete this one. I don't know if I've explained it. I guess yes, I have. Okay. Now you see we have the symmetry plane resetted, and now you see on the opposite side the mesh that we have created here on this side. 3D code creates the symmetry when you are using the right side. What does it mean? For example, if you are creating a mesh on this side, on the negative side, this is the positive side of the x-axis, and this is the negative side. 3D code needs the information for the symmetry by default on the positive side. So all polygons that are created here on the positive side or positive position will be copied or mirrored to the other side. So I will show you what happened when I do this here. I do it here. I've created a new mesh, a new face, but the mesh will be not shown. What is the problem? I will switch the symmetry off to show you how it works. Now we see the polygon that I have created, and I see my origin polygons. To see my polygon from my negative side here, I need to switch the symmetry on and go and say invert mirror. This function here inverts the mirror, and now 3D code is able to take the information of this side here, of the negative, to use and copy it here virtually to this side. Virtually means you just see the information or these faces only when you are creating, when the mirror mode is on. So you can switch this off, for example, by using retopo and switch the virtual mirror mode off. And in this case, you can create your polygons, but the polygons will not be copied to the other side and not be shown. So I will switch the mirror mode on and use it now. Why I have shown it to you? The point is, I switch the invert mirror off. Okay, and the symmetry too, no symmetry. The point is, sometimes you are starting by accident on this side, for example, and starting to create your polygons. So the symmetry mode here, the invert mirror, is just needed if you are starting on the, let's say, wrong side, the negative side, and want to copy them or to see them on the other side. So this is a solution when you are not seeing your polygons for any reason. Okay, no symmetry, and I will delete my polygons here on the negative side. Delete polygons. Delete, delete, delete. And if you don't want to delete them by single, you go to select, make a double click, and all the polygons that are connected will be selected. I will show it to you again. When I deselect them by Control D key, I'm using the keys Control and D together to deselect a selection. So one click selects one polygon because I am in the faces mode, another face, and so on. But if you click double, all faces will be selected. The same happens with vertices. When I click on vertices and say this vertex or this and want to select all, I make a double click and all vertices will be selected. Okay, I go to the faces, delete, and delete the polygons. Now I switch my symmetry again and continue my retopologizing. Here I create a new face for my hammer. As you can see, the mirror creates, sometimes you are creating polygons or vertices not exactly in the center. Please try to move them a little bit more than the center. In this case, you are sure the later meshes will be welded well together. Then there will be no seams or no place, no space between these faces, no holes. Yeah, holes was the right word. If you have problems to select this point and it's somewhere here and you don't see it, for example, undo, then you can switch the symmetry off and you can see your point and move it a little bit back. So sometimes you can do this. Okay, anyway, just to say, what I want to say is just be aware of the holes here. Try to move the points a little bit more than the center. There are more modes to create faces, of course. I am using sometimes the quads. The quads method allows us a little bit more modes to create faces. The default mode is the 2 clicks method, or the last mode that you have chosen. The 2 clicks method means you select the edge and then you have the preview of your mesh, and now you can create a mesh by clicking on 2 clicks. 2 clicks means 1 click and another click. And then you can continue your work by just moving to the right edge of your new created polygon, and then you can continue the work and click and create new polygons. If you want, like to escape this mode, just click on the escape, press the escape key, and it will be disabled. And now you can choose another edge to create a new polygon. Okay. The other modes of your quad mode are very interesting too. For example, the parallel mode. Parallel, that's a difficult word in English, parallel. Anyway, means this: you are clicking on the edge and you can move the edge or the new face here on my high poly mesh and create a new face, and so on. What is happening? As you can see, my first edge has a special direction or a special angle. This angle will be not changed when I am changing the way or the direction of my new polygons. So I can click here and create a new edge here. But what you can do here is you can change the size of your new edge. I hold my right mouse button, and when I move it left to right, I can decide what size have to be created now. So for example, when I want to create a smaller one, I click on this and I release my right mouse button now and create a new face or a new one. And here the same, you can move between the edges to start a new polygon. The other mode, the direct mode, is more interesting. When I click on an edge, I can move the new polygon or move the new edge here, and it works nearly the same like the parallel mode, but when I move it to the side, then you can see 3D code calculates a new angle for your edge. So in this way you are able to create curves. Here you can see you can use the direct mode and create curves. And here is the same. You can move the right mouse button or hold the right mouse button and change the size of the next created edge. Always how you want, how you plan it. Okay, I press escape, and the same here. You can switch to the other edges of your new created face. I'll make some undo or delete them, delete polygons. And now I will show you the next one, the trapezoid. The trapezoid works a little bit the same like the direct mode, but the difference between the modes is the angle of your new created face. So here it is a little bit better, or you can create better angles when you are creating new faces. So for example, when I'm creating a face, I can do much nicer or better curves than in the other mode, than in the direct mode. It's a little bit difficult to control it with the more or the nearer it is positioned to the origin edge, but it's very nice. And here the same with the right mouse button holding, you can move and change the new size of your mesh. This one, the parallel mode, is very nice for creating very sharp curves, for example. Of course, this is not all. You can delete this one here too, and make this again a selection, double click, delete. Okay, delete polygons. These are the modes in the quad element. I will come back to my point and faces and will show you another thing. So, for example, when I'm creating a new mesh and I want to split it here, I could move to my split rings function here and split a ring and split it to here, to this new version. But in the point and faces mode, you have the ability to set the functions to your keys, to two keys, to key combinations if you want. The control tool have a new tool that is called split rings here, like this split. You have a menu where you can choose the tool or the work that have to be done when you are pressing control while using point and faces. So when I'm using point and faces and I hold my control key, then you see the split rings tool appear, and now I can split rings. And there's a second combination. When I press Control and Shift, in this case add and split is set. You have the ability to choose one of these tools, or to create here, to use it like you want. So what you want to do. What I like is split rings and add split. Add split in this case means I press the Control and Shift button, and now I'm able to split my polygons. This is very nice when you are working with point and faces. It makes the work much faster. Okay, so let's go and create new faces. I move them to this direction and to this direction, and here. Okay, so next one and the next one. Yeah, I will move this one to here, and it became red, and now I can make it. If you have problems to create with point and faces a quad here, sometimes it depends on your view how it works. And if this not work, just move to quads and to direct. Move a little bit the camera again, and now you have the ability to move it, to create a new face. So I will move it to here and a little bit to here. Okay. The brush tool is interesting because it works. For example, this is my brush area, and when I move this point, then the center or the point will be moved nearly 100%. When I move somewhere here, then the 2 points will be moved, but the near or the closer the point here is, the more I can move it. So it means this point is not close to my center of my brush, so it will be moved very slowly. It's a little bit like a gum rope or something like this, like a bend rope. I don't know how it is in English. Anyway, so I move this one to this position and weld it with this one. Okay, great. We have here 2, and here is only 1. So I will split it again here. I make the brush size a little bit smaller because the brush size was taken from the brush here. I make it smaller, and now I can split. Okie dokie, wait a second. No, it doesn't work. Again. Okay. and move it to this position. Great. So I see I have a very interesting small ball here, small dot. I don't know, maybe it's from one of my recent tutorials. I will delete it now. Wait a second. Cut off. It's a Hammerhead. It's okay. Deleted. Retopo, and now the mirror looks better. So okay, save. So I will continue now to retopologize. Good. Then you can create, of course you can use the strokes to create meshes. The strokes are very nice because you can paint your edges here and then create meshes. This, for example, will not work. The reason is, before 3D code can create a new face of this, the lines must be crossing. Only crossing lines will result in a new mesh. When I press enter, you see a new face will be created. The good thing with strokes is you can create a new you can create your own subdivision just by painting the strokes or the lines. Now I press enter, and you see two faces will be created here. When you are creating strokes, sometimes you need to continue them. So when you try to continue a stroke by clicking on the last point, 3D code moves this point instead of creating a new stroke. To avoid this, or to make the stroke longer, you just start from the opposite side, from here, and go and move your mouse to this position. And as you see, automatically 3D code automatically connects this here. And now you can connect and create a longer stroke. I show it to you again. When I create here a stroke and I want to connect them together, I moved my mouse to this point, move it here and connect them, and now you have connected them. Sometimes you want to create very straight lines, completely straight. For example, when I will show it to you here, I create a line. It's not very straight, it's not very good. To do this, you just go here and choose the spline points density to 0, for example, or 10%. Now, when I create a line, it will be nearly straight. When you are clicking here and press 0, you can create a completely straight line. Here you see it. That's very nice if you need straight lines. So, if you want to delete your line, just click on one of the points and press delete. Now I show you, here is a 0%, and now I can just click and change maybe the direction, press enter, and now you have very nice faces. The density is very nice. For example, if you're using 50%, then you can make curves, but you have less points here on the curve. The 100% curve has much more points, so you have more control if you like. This is interesting for such things. When I do this, then the curve can be better positioned on this element when it's using 100% or more. You can of course say 200% and say here's this one. Then you see the curve is much more detailed. When I'm using just 10% and do the same, then there will be created a nice curve, but you must be very carefully with this. Sometimes the curve is going through the object, but it works too, of course. That's 3D code. And as you see, I've moved, okay. Okie dokie. Now I delete them and create my new curves. So what you could do now is you could create curves. I will do it by 50%. Delete. Curve. Another one. Another one. Another one. I move my curve here. I move it. Oops. Yeah, undo, I move it here, okay, and then I move the curve to this point. Now I correct it a little bit, move it onto this direction, and connect it from here, as you see, and make the same here. Undo, this will not work. Always think about it. Don't forget, only crossing lines will be created to polygons, not the other ones. So for example, this is okay. And now I press enter, and you see the right polygons will be created. Very nice function. And okay, and this one, and now this one, and I will split it to here and have this curve. I split the next one. Oops. Wait a second. Escape. Control D. Deselection works always. So it is select in this mode. The selection will be deselected too. So if you have problems to split, you can deselect your edges, because the edges will be selected before they can be split. Okay. And now you see here we have the hole. Oops, undo. Move it a little bit into the negative area to be sure that it will be right welded, and the same here. I don't explain everything. I hope that's okay for you. Sometimes you like to take or to get the right a better positions between these points. For example, you like to have equal positions between on this line. Then there is a tip. For example, you go to select, you go to vertices and select this vertices here and click on relax. Relax will move the vertices and try to create the same distance between these all points. That can result in this results here. The points will then be moved to the center. Now I have 4 points, and the points will be now. Friedrich tries to get a equal nice mesh here to the same positions to every corner. If you select this point, then this point will be taken too. So it's not what you want. So for example, relax, and the point will be moved, and now you see the distances will Friedrich try to take the same distances. When I click on relax, this point will be maybe moved more to the bottom, because Friedrich tried to reach this one to take the same position. So this is not what you want, so I will deselect. To deselect points, just click on Control and click it again. Now they will be deselected, and click again to select them. So this is now a good resolution or a good solution, but I think I will move them a little bit up. Okay. Or maybe not. In this direction here. Okay. I think I could move them down. Yeah, I will weld them with the upper ones. I'm thinking to do the same here, but no, I will not. It's better to get to have the polygons here. Okay, good. Now we are going to there is a split that is missing. Split this, great, and we are going on. So okay, very nice. Now escape. Take the point and faces, the strokes, 50%, make a small stroke, move it to this position here, great, and okay, move it to this one, and move it to this one. Move it a little bit to the position. It's not really important because we will have only some polygons here, only 2. Return, and now you have, no, it's only 1, but it's not a really big problem. Now you can split them. No, I will take the split rings here. Okay, move the point faces. No, point faces and move it to down here. The other one. Okay, great. So when I hide my high polys, then you see this happen. It's not a problem. I just split rings here and there, and now it works. When you have the problem and you don't see, or you have a little bit display problem, you see here we have the high poly model. What happens is the low poly model reaches or goes into the high poly model, because the high poly model is round and the low poly model is not round here, the polygon. You can adjust this view a little bit. You can say to 3D code it have to paint the low poly model later than the high poly model. So you can do this by the ZBS mode here. As you can see, when I change the mode, I can decide when my low poly model will be painted. So in this case, the low poly model will be painted later, and I can control my mesh. But this mode is very nice to control, as you see, and see your low poly mesh better than before. But sometimes it's not bad to have this value made on 3 and see a little bit how far the low poly polygons, how far the faces are going into the high poly mesh. In this case, for example, I want to control and change the direction of my edges, because I think, as I see, this faces are going too far into my high poly mesh here. So what I want to do is I want to change this edge to go from here to here. You can do it very easy in 3D code just by select and using the edge mode. By the way, these modes can be controlled by the F keys. The F key 1 means automatically, the F key 2 means vertices, the 3 edges, and the F key 4 faces. In my case, I need the edges. Always when you switch between these modes, you have sometimes different commands that can be used. In this case, in my edge mode, I can do some special elements with my edge. In this case, I am selecting this edge. What I can do, I can select more edges if I like, for example this 2, and then I can say to spin to this direction here or this. The more often I click, the better the spin will be changed, or it will be turned actually. So I take this one because I want to have it here, spin back, back, back. Now it's right. As you can see, you can change the direction of your edge just by using this pin control after you have selected it. Okay. Coming back, now I will weld them here, these faces together, just by moving them. Now the dots are red, as you see. Move it again, red, and weld it. The next one, weld it, and so on. Here we have it. So, okay, brush, move them a little bit to this position. I am creating a very low poly mesh, so of course you can subdivide your mesh as much as you want. For example, if you like to split it here by using this, this, and this, and so on. This is of course a good way too. As you can see, there are a lot of faces here, so what I can do now is I can move the point, move it here, and weld it again, move this one here, and in this direction, and move this one there, and now I have a very nice bevel here when I use it. Okay, maybe I will split this and this one. Oh, wait a second, Control D, escape, Control D, and now again, so this one, this, okay, and select again my faces, or go to the delete edges mode here, delete edges, and I can delete them. Now you see we have a very nice element that can be used for our later low poly mesh here. Good. That's nice. And now we go and continue our work here on this side. I move the brushes here to these elements. Again, okay. And to create the right positions, again I go to select, move, and choose the vertices mode here. Select my vertices, not the end vertices, just the vertices inside, and move relax, 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 relax. Now the positions are exactly the same between all the points, nearly the same. Okay, relax. The more you click, the more positions are right. Now the points are moved here, and I can now transform them. They are selected, and can hear my commands. I can transform them and move them a bit to this direction, much more near to this element here, or by hand. Okay, great. Well, looks not bad. If you want, you can switch here the mirror snapping to a higher value. At the moment it's 0%, but when I change it, then you see the snapping becomes earlier. That's not bad for small small holes here, but I think it's better to leave it in at 0% and move it a little bit into the negative element. That's better. Sometimes you are working with very detailed models maybe, and you need this, but you can decide what you want. That's very helpful to create the mirror snapping or to change it. Okay. The same can be done here. I will do it for again. I can deselect all. Now I take these points and make relax. It looks very interesting now, but I can transform it to this position. Okay. When you're transforming vertices, then they will be transformed in the world. You can position them everywhere, as you see. Okay, now I take the brush, and as you see, the transform or the position is not very good. And with the brush, I can move them back. When the points cannot be moved, then the brush is not big enough. The brush size, the brush radius is not big enough to reach this point. So you can use the mouse, or you can use the radius here and make it bigger, and now, plop, now the points snap. You can see it here. I move it, it snaps now, because the brush radius reaches now the point. The brush radius, the brush is three-dimensional, so that's the reason why it cannot reach it. So now we have the right positions, and it looks good. I make some changes to have a nicer mesh. Here we have it. The same can be done here by using the rings here, and you can click on it, move the brush bit, so, and now you have a nice bevel. If you have problems to do this here, you go just to add and split them here. Undo. Okay, now it can be moved. Very nice. Okay, here we have it. The same here. Maybe a bit smaller. I have more control with this way. Okay, nice. Of course, you can make a bevel here, but if you are going to do or making bevel here, you can do it later too by using the bevel tool. And you just select the edges here, for example this one, and say bevel, and now you can change the bevel, and actually it should be changed real time. But what is the problem? 3D Code makes only bevels when two edges are selected. So I show it to you again. This edge and this edge is not selected. I have the feeling there is a third polygon. Have you seen it? I switch the symmetry off and see. Oh no, it's working. It's okay. Okay. No, all is right. So now I go to the bevel, and now you have two edges. The minimum are two. You need two edges to make a bevel in 3D Code, just for information. So I make cancel, and I now select this one, and this one, this one, this one. And when you're going bevel, now you can move. Here there is an invisible window top. There we can move the window. And now you can make a bevel here. Okay, and then it will be moved. If you see these different colors, this is not a problem. Just move the brush, and so, for example, weld them, and then they are okay. If you make undo, then the color is coming back. That's only the point. So just weld and make undo, and then you have your color. A little bit higher. If the opacity is not good enough for you, you can change the opacity of your mesh here, for example, to 40%, and then you can move it and change your mesh and work it. So, okay, and edit it, yeah. Now I do the same here. It could be a problem, as you can see, but I guess no. So, okay, select, deselect all, again, edges, 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 this one, okay. Now go to bevel, and the last value will be taken, that's okay. And now we have a nice element. And again here, if you have a very colorful mesh, just go to points and faces, weld them, make undo, and then you have the last equal colored element. Okay. Move to here, maybe a little bit here, mid. Okay. And yeah. Great. Try to make them a bit equal. Wait a second, this is vertices, to select this, 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 and this. Relax. Now the vertices are a little bit better, but here is a problem. We have a non-split model. I have to split it here, and now relax, not very nice because I have to deselect this one here. This one, now you see, and relax. It's a little bit better, but not really. Okay, anyway, I thought it could help, so it's okay. Then I move the brush and move it to here. Don't forget to save your scene and so on. Good. Now we continue our work, and now I do it by using the strokes here. Okay, the strokes, and again stroke. Continue my stroke. Okay. You can do it by hand. That takes a lot of time, but you can do it the same by another way, just by going into the side view, and you could make a stroke just by clicking here and outside the object and do it here. So this is our first curve. Here you see the curve have a little problem, but this is not a problem because we move the curve into the mesh here, this way, and the other curve this way. Now we have a nice curve, and now you make here and another one here, and just two of them here. Return. Now we have a nice mesh. Sometimes it's not working well, but this is not a very big problem. Undo. I make it here again. I guess the reason is my curve is not really good here. It's maybe outside. Great. Return. Yes, now it's right. You see? All is good. Move it to this position and so on. Move it a little bit to this right. Very nice. Okay, now I move them to connect them later here. Okay, a little bit faster. Some splits here. Yeah. This one. This one. Good. Okay. Now I am in the point and faces mode and can continue to make this here. Okay, that's a little bit too much. So I move them together. Undo, undo. Deselect. Okay. Okay. You can weld edges together just by using this here, collapse, and then it will be collapsed. This is a good way to collapse edges. Good. Okay, one is a little bit too much, so I will collapse them here together. Connect this and move them. And again, you can select the points here and make relax. It's a very helpful function. Now the positions are right. Relax, relax. Transform to this position. Brush. Okay. It's the same here. Select points, deselect, select all the points. Yep. relax again, and now I can move them. Okay, very nice. Quartz mode again here. The same for this. The same for this. The quad mode creates automatically quads, but also triangles. So, okay. Very good. Now again some bevel. So, okay. When you there's a small trick to select a bevel line. You select one bevel and then you press on L key and the line will be selected automatically. The same can be done here at the L key, and now you see, oh, there's a small problem for any reason. Okay, and now I will make a bevel. Here we have it. Okay, automatically done. Again, to get the same color, move them, weld them, like again, undo. Here we have it. So, okay. Wait, maybe the bevel could be a bit bigger. Bevel, so this way. Okay. Okay, save. Faces, undo. Great. Now I move the elements here a bit. Okay, brush. Okay. Make the radius smaller. This way. If you want to snap all elements, just go into snap, then all will be snapped in the right position. So if you have some faces that are looking outside, I will show it to you here in an example. I move it to the outside position here, for example. Then you can go here, click on snap, and it will snap to the next position. The mode can be used here, auto snapping, snap to outer surface, to closest along normal, or to the nearest. It depends how you like to snap your vertices on. Okay, very nice. So this is the wrong position. Okay. Okie dokie. So okay, this is our hammerhead, and now I make some corrections here. Make a bit better bias. Okay, and split these points to here. Oh no, I will do it by bevel, by the bevel function. Select. Deselect 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Again, this one, bevel. Okay, look a bit more. Okay, now we have a nice bevel, and the same here. Point faces, undo, move, tweak the bevel a bit. Okay, snap again. This is nice. Fine. Great, that's looking not bad. I see I have a small problem here with my theme, but this will be corrected later. I will correct it later when we have the final model. Now at this point I will weld my model together. This information will be taken later into the normal map. So to do this you need to switch your symmetry on. If you not switch your symmetry on, you cannot copy your mesh or use it virtually to make a complete mesh. So switch the symmetry on, and now you can use this function, make symmetrical copy, or use it here, make where is it? Apply symmetry to current layer. Yeah, and now symmetry was applied. You can switch your symmetry off and you have the complete object. I will switch my high poly off. Now you see this is my hammer, and now I can add some information if I like, but for example here, but I don't do this at the low poly mesh now, so I move it a little bit down here, it better, no, up, better up, make some corrections, snap again to be sure all is well. Okay, maybe a little bit higher. Of course you can make here a small, yeah, I could make this one here, you can make this, and this and this. And what does it mean? This and this, and this and this. Now I'm able to move the points here to this position. I do the collapse. Okay, collapse and collapse. And now I can move it to here, move it to this position. It looks better than before. The same can be done here. So I make a split from here to here, from here to here, and make a collapse, and move it again, deselect, and move it again to this position here. It looks okay. Maybe here. Okay. Great. That's fine. Very good. So this is for today. I hope you know. Oh, there's a small point. Here, blue. You go. Just scroll out. Move your button over this points and faces over this dot and press enter. It will have to be white. Wait a second. For any reason here. Okay. Now it's okay. I've pressed the delete button. I've moved my cursor over the blue ball and pressed the delete button when it appears in white. Good. This is for today. Here we have our model. In the next episode I will continue to retopologize the rest of my weapon. I hope you liked it, and I would be very happy if you visit my YouTube channel, and yeah, see you soon. Bye bye.